Hi guys, so radio broadcaster Liz Kershaw appeared on GB News to explain why people, especially women, are becoming more right-wing as they get older. It's all down to not understanding reality when they're younger. In a pretty condescending way, she explains how a generation of young voters have no understanding of concepts like accountability, responsibility, capitalism, and generally how the world works. And she added that she voted for the Green Party at one stage. Have a listen to this.
I can speak for me. When I was at Leeds, you have no notion of how the world works. You've no notion of capitalism or not in the same way you do when you get older.
Personal responsibility.
Yeah, accountability. You've no idea of how the money is made. Mm-hmm. To build a university, probably in the old days from a philanthropist with a big factory exploiting the workers. You've no idea how education is paid for. This is when it was free, obviously getting into a lot of debt. You've no idea why interest rates are set in a certain way. And so you can...
And you don't own anything either.
You don't own it. You have no capital. You can't be interested in capitalism or support it because you have no capital. You don't have a house or anything. You have nothing to lose. I was idealistic. I remember I used to vote Green.
Right, that's even more offensive than Liberal Democrat.
Oh my goodness. This is pure projection. When she was younger, she didn't understand politics, so she thinks that, well, the young generation don't understand politics either, especially women. So how condescending and talking down to people is this? Once again, because you don't understand how things work, doesn't mean that nobody else understands how things work. And because you didn't care when you were younger, I think she's 65, so we're talking 40 years ago. Just think about the situation 40 years ago and compare it to today. Young people 40 years ago were able to buy a house. Not just rent, but were able to buy a house. People 40 years ago were sure that they would get secure employment. They would be talking about, well, I need to put something away for a pension. Pensions, imagine a pension. A lot of most young people couldn't even think about having a pension or relying on it in the future. So the situation has completely changed. And she's like saying, well, young people, they just don't understand reality. They don't understand how the world works. You didn't understand how the world works when you were younger. But you can't project that onto others. Now, this is somebody who's saying that, people don't understand how the world works. And she posted this on Twitter in 2022. Anyone who shafts Boris Johnson will not get my vote for leader of the Conservatives. Not because of issues. I just won't ever support cowards or traitors or naked self-promotion. Sorry, you're talking about Boris Johnson. People running against Boris Johnson. And these people who don't support Boris Johnson are cowards, traitors, like Boris frigging Johnson. Boris Johnson was a coward. He ran away from a by-election. A traitor. Look at what he's done to Britain. And self-promotion, naked self-promotion. Boris Johnson was there because Boris Johnson only cares about Boris Johnson. But it gets worse. So Liz baffled TV host by saying job losses are great news for Brexit. So this is a quote from her on I think it was a Sky News show. It's terrible some jobs are being lost in East Anglia. However, doesn't it show faith by a multinational in a global market, Philips, that they are confident that they can manufacture these bottles in Holland and they will still easily, with frictionless trade, be able to import them to the UK. This is from 2019. So before the UK left the single market. Okay, so she doesn't understand. Like, she's criticizing young people for not understanding reality, and now she's saying, well, don't worry, we'll be able to import all this stuff without any problems from the EU. Like, the fact that the manufacturing is moving to the Netherlands isn't a problem for her. I'm just putting a spin on it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying rather than saying, oh, we're leaving because Brexit is going to be bad. I'm just saying that you can put your own spin on anything. You could say that if you're a Remainer. But if you believe in Brexit, you can say, isn't it good news that that means Philips believe that they can still transport these bottles back into the UK. I'm saying you can put any spin you want on it. She goes on to say, I'm sorry for people losing their jobs. I was simply using it as an illustration of whatever you believe, whatever your belief is, you can interpret something in a positive or negative manner. I wish I never mentioned it. Like, once again, you have this individual who's criticizing young people for not understanding capitalism, not understanding inflation, not understanding how the world works. And somehow they just need to, pipe down. They don't understand reality. Leave it to the adults in the room. Leave it to people like me and Boris Johnson. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.